Uiteindelik Vrydag, nog 'n week is verby. Steek die vure aan en oor die hele kontry. Boetie, sussie, almal saam, oupa en ouma ook. Los jou worries by die huis, want hierdie boerejol gaan kook. Ons gaan dans, dis lekker Vrydag gaan, waar die borstel vure brand, en die concertina praat. Ons gaan dans, dis lekker Vrydag gaan, waar die kindertjies baljaar op hierdie boerejol vandaan. Wat is 'n braai, sonder aardappelslaai, terwyl maar het maak, en die kinders stokbrood braai. Al pas sy gitaar uit, met die concertina saam. Vanaand gaan ons tikkie draai, laat die stof so staan. Ons gaan dans, dis lekker Vrydag gaan, waar die bosveld vure brand, en die concertina praat. Ons gaan dans, dis lekker Vrydag gaan, waar die kindertjies baljaar op hierdie boerejol vanaand. En laat dan as ons opkyk na die sterre en die maan, dis dan wanneer oom Koos vir ons spookstories vertel. Kort voor lank is die kinders bang, wil niemand meer gaan slaap. Dan haal pas sy gitaar uit, met die concertina staan. Ons gaan dans, dis lekker Vrydag gaan, waar die bosveld vure brand, en die concertina praat. Ons gaan dans, dis lekker Vrydag gaan, waar die kindertjies baljaar op hierdie boerejol vanaand. Goeienaand, baie welkom, lekker om hier te wees. Kom ons kry die keer aan die gang. Dis lockdown. Ja, ons gaan dans, dis lekker Vrydag gaan, waar die bosveld vure brand, en die concertina praat. Ons gaan dans, dis lekker Vrydag gaan, waar die kindertjies baljaar op hierdie boerejol vanaand. Ons gaan dans, dis lekker Vrydag gaan, waar die kindertjies baljaar op hierdie boerejol vanaand. Waar die kindertjies baljaar op hierdie boerejol vanaand, en waar die bosveld vure brand, op hierdie boerejol vanaand.
I'm saying bye to all the lies and all the times you cried, saying that I wasn't right, yet I was right by your side. You manipulator, playing games, your friends commentators, and I don't know what you say about our private conversations, but it's got them hating. Thanks to all the rumors you be claiming, it's cool, I'm done with you, so they can throw you a celebration. You gon' hate it when you see me with somebody living better. I'm trying to tell you that me just doing me gon' have you jealous.
Hello folks, welcome back to the program. It is Friday. Let's take a listen in and see how the sound is. I've rebooted the computer, hopefully solve that problem. Listen in and see how the sound is. I've rebooted the computer, hopefully solve that problem. Listen in and see how the sound is. Sounds pretty good. Sounds pretty good. All right, welcome back. It's Friday, October 4th, 2024. And yesterday's beautiful sunny day was an aberration, ladies and gentlemen. It is foggy. The fog almost at ground level, just barely a few meters above the ground. You can't see very far. Visibility is down. Misty outside. Wow, it's all backwards. I don't know what's going on, but something strange is happening. Something strange is happening. By the way, I love that song that I put in that opening. I've got to find out where I stored that at. I love that sound. It's pretty cool. I'd start playing it. But yeah, in the day of P. Diddy, we have to have cleaner rap sort of songs. Oh my goodness, ladies and gentlemen, I haven't really commented on this Sean Combs, P. Diddy, Puff Daddy nonsense that's going on, but this thing is getting hectic. If you believe all the stuff that's out there, you got to be very careful. Lots of people make wild claims, tunnels, secret tunnels found under his bedroom that lead to torture chambers. All kinds of nonsense people reporting. And names are being dropped everywhere. Will Smith, J-Lo, all these people, they're all being mentioned in this. All big names, folks. Wow. I'll tell you what, remember when the QAnon and those other people were talking about rings of pedos and sexual perverts and people in political power and powerful people in Hollywood, the music industry, and they're all involved in it, and politicians? They were saying that he was just a wackadoodle with conspiracy theories. Well, here we are a few years later, and look at what's happening around the world. Well, look what's happening in the United States. It's bat crap crazy. Wouldn't be surprised to find out if the big guy himself attended some of those freak-offs. Freak out! Yeah, well, Ants, welcome to you. You're waiting for climate change. Well, keep waiting. Not going to happen in our lifetime. Dylan Combrick is here. As always, Dylan, it's a pleasure to see you. A salute out to you for being such a loyal viewer and a guy who makes the great effort, despite the inconvenience, to come to every one of my meet and greets in the Woodbridge area, Parklands area, and Blauberg. Thank you so much for being there. Really appreciate it. Blaustein, excuse me. Teresa's here. Welcome, Teresa. And then Fleshin, Charmaine, Dylan Combrick, I already mentioned. And Sedgefield's back. Good to see you again. We've got Chris Ehlers. Hello, Chris. It's me, the straight white male. Well, it's a dying breed. Eric is here. Hello, Eric. I hope you're fine. I hope you're doing well today on a Friday and not being called away to dinner. Smee again. Sorry, what did you say, Colonel? About what, Smee? Or were you joking about the sound? The PDD thing is a huge distraction, says Charmaine. Yeah, it is a huge distraction, and that's why they've released it now. They've had it for 20 years, and now they release it. Yeah, it's big. Also notice that the strike has been resolved in America. It hasn't. We're going to talk about that. The strike has simply been postponed till after the inauguration. Funny how that works to help out the Democrats. Yes. A rumor about Gavin Watson from Bosasa. No, I haven't seen that. Robert Rankin, welcome to you. Le Chic was the group's name. Ah, okay. Thank you for that. Pablo Charlie says, wow, I'm not sure what the wow thing is all about. And Allison says, happy weekend. Welcome to all of you tuning in right now. It is a distinct pleasure, as always, to have you join me here in a place where we have rational discussion and we talk about things. Look, I've been watching some other content creators, and frankly, I'll be honest, this isn't envy. I mean, sure, I envy people that have 5 million subscribers. I won't lie about that. But my comments about other content creators are not meant from a point of I envy what they have, but I'm puzzled by the appeal. Again, Steven Crowder's okay. I can take him in small doses, particularly when he goes and does his campus sort of things. Then also we've got Ben Shapiro, whom I have no beef with. I've always liked his content, but he gets a little bit off the deep end sometimes. But I do understand the appeal for Ben Shapiro, particularly for a specific audience, Jewish audience, but not exclusively. But I do listen to Ben Shapiro. But some of these other content creators, I've never understood the appeal. So yesterday, someone brought up the topic of Styx Hexenhammer 666, somebody I interviewed back in 2020 on this program. Or is it 2021? Anyway, I interviewed him 3 or 4 years ago. I was asked to interview him. I interviewed him. It was interesting. I didn't find all that interesting. I've watched his content a few times. He was living in the Netherlands, but I kind of lost interest because he says some really crazy things from my perspective. And anyway, long story short, he did release a video last night. It popped up. I haven't seen a video from him come up in ages on my app when I was on my phone after midnight when I couldn't sleep. And I watched it. About a 6-minute video explaining that he'd been arrested in New Orleans. Well, that story's already broken. About him with a girlfriend, and supposedly he was married and his wife's got a kid and now he's estranged from the wife. He moved back from the Netherlands to Vermont. Then he went to New Orleans for Mardi Gras or something, and he got arrested for domestic violence or abuse or something, assault. Anyway, he explained it all last night and said there's not much to it, but that's not the issue. The issue is apparently his erratic behavior on here, and I'm not criticizing or attacking him. I'm just saying that I don't understand the appeal of what he was saying. There obviously is an audience for every viewpoint, but I've never understood it. And look, again, not an attack. In fact, if he offered to come on this channel and let me talk to him about what's going on and all the changes in his life, I'd be happy to do it because he's interested. Yeah, Michael says intellectually lazy. Well, a lot of these people are intellectually lazy. So many people, particularly on Twitter, who are influencers, who are people with millions of followers on their account, are lazy and post garbage. I called out a conservative for doing it the other day. This conservative put something up there about the Tennessee National Guard. Oh, there's no Tennessee National Guard because the Biden regime sent all the troops from the Tennessee National Guard to the war in the Middle East. First off, I know better. So my first inclination as an analyst, as an intelligent, cogent, lucid Homo sapien, was to go, wait. First off, all of the troops, that seems impossible. Somebody's got to stay behind to manage things. So anyway, I looked. The end strength of the Tennessee National Guard is 10,700 soldiers, which makes it larger than many militaries around the world, the Tennessee National Guard. They have sent 700 soldiers on deployment, but they're not in the Middle East. They're at Fort Hood going pre-deployment training. They will go to Kuwait as part of a regularly scheduled rotation of troops in Kuwait of reserve and active component forces. So it was just a lie. And even if they had sent 700 people to the Middle East, that is not going to stop the Tennessee National Guard with 10,700 soldiers from actually providing flood relief in concert with the Tennessee Emergency Management Association. So, look, that's what pisses me off about social media. That's what pisses me off about YouTube and how they hide content. Here you get reasonable, logical, cogent, thoughtful analysis from someone that's been there and done that. And I do this of my own free will, of my own time, and it's very time consuming. It's frustrating to see people who don't know what they're talking about, have massive followings, and run their mouth. Ben Shapiro knows what he's talking about, but he's very strongly biased. He's not even remotely objective when it comes to issues around Judaism, not even remotely. And look, I can understand the sensitivity. Jews have been persecuted for millennia and nearly wiped out in Europe. So, yeah, I appreciate where he's coming from. But so many of these content creators, I don't understand the appeal. And again, I don't understand the appeal of my content for some of my viewers. Some of my viewers are a little marginal when it comes to their views about race. That's a statement of fact. I'm not picking any of my particular, but those people who are there know who they are. And that's not a criticism of them or attack or promotion of them, it's a statement of fact. But most of my viewers come here because, there's a little bit of entertainment. Sometimes we have a little bit of fun, but you're getting the truth and you're getting it from my perspective. And I'm honest about that. My perspective is objective. It may not be unbiased. No one's unbiased, but it is objective. There's a difference. You can be objective, and objective means fair. All right, let's get to the chat and see who I missed over here. Please define rational for AI because some of us are mental. Well, oh my goodness. Last night, I saw a TikTok video. I think it was TikTok. I shared it with people in some of the groups in which someone asked AI a question. They came back and they used the N word. They used something else, which was not what the person was talking about. They're talking about knitting, and they used the N word. They're talking about crocheting. It was so funny. Oh my gosh! Will the South African Human Rights Commission take them to court for that AI? They used the N word. I had an odd email from YouTube saying unbanned. Didn't know I had one. Oh, that's interesting, Debbie. I've never seen that before. Wow. Debbie, if you don't mind sharing a screenshot of that with me, I won't share it with anyone else. I'd love to see that. That's fascinating. That is an odd email. Eric Dodson from Rendsburg, 39 months on the new channel. Thank you so much. Good evening to all and sundry. I haven't seen that word in a while, sundry. I'm here nor shy either. No, Chris, you're not shy. Sometimes you have to be disciplined for that. Well, thank you, Debbie. I appreciate that. I'm curious. That's an odd one. Maybe YouTube is growing up. Don't hold your breath on it. Erica says, I believe the Diddy's list is out, but I'm not taking it seriously until confirmed time. Well, there was a press conference from the prosecutor, and they said a lot of stuff. It's crazy. This Puff Daddy Combs thing, the freakouts, the white parties, a lot of people. Now, the white parties arguably are different than the freakouts. That's the stuff that came out. That was really crazy stuff. The prosecutor said that there were minors involved, a 9-year-old, and I think 11, a 14, a 15-year-old, amongst 125 victims who filed this lawsuit. This is crazy. That's, it may be a distraction, which was mentioned earlier by Charmaine, but it doesn't mean there's nothing to it. Wow. Brian is Brian, not Sundry. Charmaine says, never call me rational. My hubby will never believe you. Well, without getting into misogynistic comments and stereotypes about women and rationality, I think I'll move on. That's not a safe space for me. So let's just stay away from that. Thousands marching in Cape Town to protest anti-genocide. Yeah, they're going to call for anti-genocide, and they're going to do this the anniversary of the terror slaughter in Israel. Can you believe this? This is unbelievable. These are pro-terror people, and they mask their hatred with this nonsense. And I wish I had somebody on the ground who could cover it for me, but I don't encourage anybody to go out because it can be dangerous. Thousands to march in Cape Town to deliver anti-genocide message as Middle East conflict escalates. The Palestine Solidarity Campaign will march from District 6 to Parliament on Saturday. The South African Zionist Federation has condemned the march, calling it baseless and insensitive. While South Africa ratified the Apartheid Convention in May 2024, the next crucial step is passing legislation to ensure compliance with its international obligations and necessary action that would demonstrate South Africa's commitment to justice and human rights. What? Earlier this year, the South African acceded to the UN International Convention on the Suppression and Punishment of the Crime of Apartheid, the Apartheid Convention. Wow. Interesting. What does that have to do with it? The march comes days before the one-year anniversary of the attack on Israel, resulting in the deaths of 1,205 people and other hostages still under control. This is a shameful act by the part of these people. And anyway, let's look. What are you going to say about it? I worked with them in Kokstad, Cape Town. PAGAD, People Against Gangsterism and Drugs. Well, it's a Islam-based group of vigilantes who eventually were responsible for terrorism acts, including blowing up the Planet Hollywood in Cape Town, in case those who forgot about it. I heard that the day George Floyd happened, more than 1,000 people were unalived in Iran. I don't know anything about that. I have no idea about that. Well, let's forget about race. Innocent Mkhwebane reports in Times Live that former public protector Mkhwebane has said, let's forget about race. No harm, no foul. It's time to move on. Yeah, please watch my video, which was published just before this broadcast, when you get a chance, talking about the free pass for elites, especially black elites in the political sphere. Mkhwebane is a serving member of parliament under the flag of the Economic Freedom Fighters, spewing racial hatred, committing criminal acts while a member of parliament. She must be disciplined, discharged, and if it's criminal, it actually is criminal, it's certainly shameful, she should be charged and prosecuted for her acts. After all, apparently Ronaldo Khos wasn't good enough to be in parliament for something he never did. That's right, he never did what he's accused of while a member of the Democratic Alliance, who kicked him out, or a serving member of parliament. So there you go. Free pass, yeah. So I don't mean to cause any perception I'm attacking the legal advisors. I mean, they are hardworking. At the end of the day, I'm prepared to if they think it's like that. Really? That doesn't sound like an apology to me. Doesn't sound like an apology to me. Sounds to me like she's getting a free pass from the legacy media instead of having, do you see anything? If you see one headline, I challenge someone to show me a headline that calls Mkhwebane a racist. I can show you dozens that call Ronaldo Khos a racist, and those are all libel, and they're subject to lawsuits, and good luck to the people who utter them. I can show you lots of articles, not op-ed, but articles that call Roman Kabanak a racist and right-wing and fascist. I can show you lots of those, but show me one headline that calls Mkhwebane a racist. Go ahead. I dare you. I dare you. You can't, because it doesn't exist. The Judicial Services Commission condemns Mkhwebane's racial comments while the Freedom Front Plus calls on Parliament to take action. Now, ladies and gentlemen, that was a headline by Jan Mkhwebane a few hours ago. Now, let me show you something that occurred, and I made a video on this, which I'll put up after this broadcast because I had two of them I was working on. But let me show you this. This is the News 24 headline that initially came out in an article written by Jan Mkhwebane, and then, or Gerba, as we say in German, because it's German. And then there's an updated story. Now, it's okay to update things, but you shouldn't update the headline, especially when you do it in such a dishonest fashion. Look what they've done here. Now, who does the News 24 NASPers work for? The ANC? Koos Becker, please tell us who they work for. Look on the right. On the right, you have the judiciary condemns Mkhwebane's racial comments while the Freedom Front Plus calls on Parliament to take action. The initial article headline. 2 hours later, the judiciary condemns Mkhwebane's racial comments while ANC call on Parliament to take action. They edited it so quickly they took the S off. There should be an S on there and calls on Parliament. They use a plural. Either that or they forgot Freedom Front Plus, but that's dishonest. Oh, wait a second. You guys aren't seeing it. Sorry, my bad. Here you go. Just realized that. There you go. All right, that's the headline. There you go. So now you can see it. There you go. Why did News 24 alter the headline? Do they work for the African National Congress? Does NASPers? Koos Becker, please tell us, does NASPers work for the ANC? Are you a media wing of Lutuli House? Look on the right. They actually reported the story as it occurred. And then when the ANC jumped on the bandwagon and correctly called on Parliament to take action, a few hours later, they went and updated and removed the Freedom Front Plus. This is like the Soviet Union when they take people out of the photographs. They just kind of wash them out of a photograph. We've seen that once they execute people in the Soviet Union, they simply scrub them out of photographs as if they were never there. Now, look at that. Look at that. Dishonest. That's not journalism. That's sensationalism. And that's why the background is yellow for yellow journalism. Yep. Anyway, so there you go. So the judiciary is condemning that. And we've got the ANC now also calling for her to be disciplined. Parliament issued a statement on this yesterday. And that is, hang on a second, that's not the image I want. I want this image here. Get a little ahead of myself. There you go. All right, so Parliament has noted with dismay the unfounded utterances by advocate Mkhwebane. She's not an advocate, she's a member of Parliament. Please state correctly who she is, which seeks to impugn the integrity of Parliament staff members. Yep. Well, how about you say the fact? She's a member of parliament. Let's not forget that Doctors Whaley and Kesey, all but found guilty in the Digital Vibes case, remains a serving member of parliament. Paul Mashatile, a man accused of so many wrongs, a man who cannot explain how he has a 78 million rand house in the Western Cape. Where'd that come from, buddy? Where'd that money come from? Well, he's still serving in parliament. Wow. To their credit, the Commie Socialist Congress of South African Trade Unions has come out and also rebuked her. COSATU condemns advocate Busaziwe Mkhwebane's attacks on South Africans of Indian descent. The Congress of South African Trade Unions condemns the shameful utterances and attacks by advocate Busaziwe Mkhwebane on South Africans of Indian descent in a bizarre ranting on Twitter. It is unacceptable for a member of parliament to indulge herself in what amounts to hate speech against any section of South Africa's population, including compatriots of Indian origin. Hear, hear, COSATU. For the first time in years, I praise the Congress of South African Trade Unions for doing something correct. In a moment, I'm going to criticize them, but I praise them for doing what's right, moral, and just in this case. It's about time. Call her out, remove her from parliament immediately. Immediately. And by the way, how can John Shlope be qualified to serve in parliament when he's been he's been impeached for his conduct as a judge? If he's not suitable to be a judge, how could he be suitable to be a member of parliament? Now I criticize COSATU after praising them. COSATU plans a nationwide strike on Monday to protect job losses, Eskom tariffs, and corruption. Well, South Africa's largest trade union will launch a national strike against the crippling economic crisis on Monday. The union and its affiliates, who have a collective membership about 1.8 million, said the strike will bring attention to retrenchments from numerous companies, including South African Post Office, coal miner Sereti, and diversified minerals miner Sibanye-Stillwater. Okay, so Sibanye-Stillwater and the Post Office, who are losing money, should continue to pay people for things that aren't needed. No. Well, this gets really bizarre, folks. I don't know what someone please talk to Herman Mashaba. I don't know what's going on with this guy. I really don't know. I try to be objective. I try to be fair. But the problem is that his own statements is digging his own hole. I mean, what am I supposed to do? Look the other way? I can't look the other way. This is newsworthy because the news is reporting it. So Sir Carbonara Alfred, this Twitter account that a lot of people follow, including me, published a video that was recorded by a black African and posted by a black African. He posted the video on his Twitter account, and he said some comments, to which Herman Mashaba felt the need to respond. Now, the problem with Herman Mashaba responding is that he's complaining about something that he's guilty of, and he wants to put it in racial terms. I don't understand what's going on. Suddenly, everything's racism, and he isn't even naming who the racists are. He's just basically blanket painting white folks. Stop portraying Africans as barbaric. Herman Mashaba on a video demeaning Nigerians. When someone attacks another African on the basis of generalization, I will not defend that. Really? Really? When someone attacks another African on the basis of generalizations, you will not defend that. A controversial account on X named Labona Kabaneya posted a video of people walking in the desert claiming Nigeria gained independence on October 1st, 1960 from the white Europeans of Britain. Today, there are Nigerian men, women, and children crossing the Sahara Desert on foot to go into Europe to the white people because Nigerians are useless. That's what someone posted. He put it up there. Now, let me show you the video here. Here it is. It's about 13 seconds. I'll put it on mute. And here it's Sir Cabanea Alfred. It sounds like an Italian dish, like, I'll have the carbonari. So here's the video of Nigerians in the desert slipping across, trying to sneak into Europe. See that? Look at that. All right, there you go. And there they are walking through, all happy that they're criminal alien invaders invading Europe. Yeah. Anyway, so Herman Mashaba is all upset about that. But there's a problem with Herman Mashaba's anger about that, It really is. For instance, let's just take a look at this comment from him. That's the wrong one. Just a moment. Here you go. Here's one a comment that he made as serving mayor. In the latest incident, Mashaba fired off a series of tweets displaying slideshows of countries including Nigeria, Tanzania, Zimbabwe, Ethiopia, and the Democratic Republic of Congo, next to the number of crimes committed by citizens from those countries in Johannesburg over 4 years. But a closer look at those statistics refutes Mkhwebane's inaccurate narrative that African immigrants are to blame for the high levels of crime in Johannesburg. He, of course, has said atrocious things about black Africans, and now he's complaining because someone's posting a video about black Africans. Twitter's forever. The internet's forever, folks. Despite the lies that some clowns try to tell about me, you're not going to find anything out there because there is nothing, because that's not my heart. But I don't know what's going on with Herman Mkhwebane. He's complaining about white people. And by the way, the image is a black person. I don't know who's behind the account. They desperately try to find out who's behind the account, just like the Ghoulam account. They're like, everybody is Ghoulam to IOL and to these black supremacists who are out there trying to sort it out. But I don't know who Mkhwebane Alfred is, and I really don't care whether the person's black, white, or brown. But they do post some very provocative, interesting things. Anyway, it's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. Herman Mkhwebane needs to take a break and listen to his advisors and stop promoting racial hatred, because that's what he's doing. Talking about, people talking about barbaric. What's barbaric about that? What is barbaric? What is barbaric in that video? The only thing that comes across in that video is that Nigerians are illegally entering Europe. That's what I get out of it. Anyway. In fact, I've lost hope. A communist has lost hope, folks. It's so sad when a communist loses hope. Former KZN Premier and Governor of National Unity critic Willie Mkhunu resigns from the ANC. I'm sorry. Were those good fake crocodile tears? Another communist leaves the ANC. Woo-hoo! Whoop-de-doo! Oh, my goodness. Yeah, Kami's gone. Former KZN and Natal Premier Willie Mkhunu has resigned. In his letter to the ANC Provincial Secretary Mbeki Mtolo and eThekwini Regional Secretary, he spoke on News 24. He was an ANC operative during the struggle against apartheid and held office as premier from 2016 to 2019. Boy, it took a long time for him to get to the gravy train. 94 to 2016. He was probably bitter about that. He argued the DA would swallow the ANC whole. These people are so terrified of the Democratic Alliance. Okay, let's be clear. Let's be very honest right now, okay? The Democratic Alliance is feckless. The Democratic Alliance is ineffective. The Democratic Alliance is caught up in the arrogant, egotistical attitudes of its leaders. Yep, that's a statement. And now that I've found out something about another leader in one of the provinces, that problem extends beyond the national level down to provincial level as well. I was not aware of that. People claimed it, but now I see it. That said, the DA is the only legitimate alternative with any capability to do something to better South Africa at the moment. And there are good people in the DA. However, as a party, they're useless. There's no way the DA is going to consume the ANC. It's the other way around. This guy's an idiot. He's a moron. The problem, and I suspect here, is black supremacists don't like the fact that the white party, which is only 1/3 white, the white party actually is part of a government with black supremacists. They don't like that. But they seem to forget the origins of the African National Congress, founded by colored South Africans and black South Africans, people like Sol Plaatje, back in 1912, thereabouts. Remember that? Yeah. And then the party got its head of steam up in the 50s when apartheid was introduced by the Verwoerd administration after 48. The resistance to it came in large part from the people who had the ability to resist it, Jews in South Africa, the elites in South Africa, the educated in South Africa, some of whom are wealthy, and blacks. That's where its origins are. The Freedom Charter of 1955 is not a product of the African National Congress, despite their lies. It's a product of a coalition of people coming together in no small measure because of the Pan-African Congress, and it was written almost entirely by white Jews in South Africa. The Freedom Charter, that they like to take credit for. They were a multiracial party from the 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s into the 90s, but they've become largely a blacks-only party. The only member of any significance at any level that anyone can recognize in the ANC who isn't black these days is Barbara Creasy. There are no Indians left. They're gone. Who are the coloreds? Who are the whites? Barbara Creasy's the only one I can see. Yeah, so this communist has got his head on backwards. The DA will be consumed by the ANC, not the other way around. He wrote, pursuant to my views of that time and having thoroughly analyzed the current political trajectory of the ANC, I've come to the conclusion that I'm no longer added value to the life of the ANC. I am now ever critical and having a negative view of many things in the life of the ANC, organizationally and government. Well, yeah, because the gravy train's over. There are honest politicians in cabinet positions that are actually keeping an eye on the fiscus. And you can't steal anymore, ANC, so he's upset. So the Times Live calls it the GNU fallout. This is not GNU fallout. This is part of the radical economic transformation, the black supremacy, right-wing, race-hustling part of the ANC, the radical economic transformation, communist. That's what this is. This is this. We wish you all the best and shall forever respect your teaching, says Bekim Tola. Well, teachings of what? To be greedy communists and steal from people? No, thank you. No, thank you. I was labeled to the fact that I am politically ignorant and don't know what communism is. In one provincial economic committee meeting, I was reliably informed that I was questioned by my leaders as to who I am to tell the leadership what to do in the matter. Well, I don't question who you are. I'm sure you're a dedicated communist, and I'm sure that you don't like people who don't look like you. That I'm pretty confident about. So, yeah, we're not confused. We know who you are, buddy. We know who you are. Meanwhile, in a comical description of a graduation class for SAPs, these poor bastards are now going to be police officers, underpaid and overexposed to danger, also overly feminine. Why are they this all women's class? Look at that. It's all women. Or maybe that's just one end of the formation. The South African Police Service adding more police officer communities, aiming for one officer for every 220 people, a very low standard. On Friday, 1,812 newly trained constables were deployed. More than 8,000 are still undergoing training. The Deputy Police Minister, Paule Boschello, officiated the parade of officers. The new constables underwent a 6-month introductory police development learning program. Now, Boschello said that this is a sign that we're professionalizing SAPs. The training of new constables is part of our efforts to strengthen SAPs and enhance police visibility in all communities as we move to advance our crime-fighting initiatives. Well, okay, I'll accept the last two parts of that. It is an effort to strengthen SAPs by adding more constables and to increase visibility of police. I'll buy that. But how is this a sign that you're professionalizing the South African Police Service? Because they attend a course to learn how to be cops? What, did you just stick them out on the street for? Hello, welcome to the South African Police Service. Come on in, fill out this form right here. Put your name on that. Butemo, here's your badge. Here's your gun. Go forth. That's idiotic. Of course, they've always trained people. You don't just become a cop overnight. This is idiotic. How's it professionalizing? They're already professionalized. They just don't enforce standards. They don't enforce standards. All right, let me get to some of the chat that's popping up over here because quite a bit's going on. It's a country in decline due to rapid rise of fascism. Yeah, same here, buddy. The fact is too many darker-skinned folk have been brainwashed and believing they are the perpetual victims, thus no dark-skinned folk can ever be racist. Correct, Cyber-Eggs. A trade onion striking for corruption. John Jarvis, she reluctantly apologized last night, so I assume it will all go away now. Well, she didn't apologize, John. She never used the word apology, and she said if they want me to. That's a quote, unless the media are lying about the quote. Hester's out of here. Why aren't you a good friend of mine, Hester? I'm sorry to hear that. Did you see Panyaza? No, I didn't. I did not, Pablo Charlie. What did he have to say? Like the Cater Manor constable arrested linked to hijacking death of 11-year-old. No story. Oh, sorry. Okay. Erica says her experience in Cape Town is totally different. She loves it there. Yeah. Well, Erica, I know. And what did I counsel you, Erica? I counsel you that why are you in Azimuthode? You shouldn't be here. The past is not your future. This is not where you should be. You have family in the Western Cape, and life is better and off for you there. Why don't you give it a shot? And Erica, give me feedback. Was I right? Bystander says, am I racist if I prefer the company of white people? Not at all. No. Do you advocate for the benefits to white people to the disadvantage of other people? Do you argue for harm to other people based on their skin pigmentation? If you don't, you're not a racist. I mean, Zulu tend to want to be around Zulu. Otherwise, there'd be no Zulu. They would mix with everybody and they'd be gone. It would just be a melange. There'd be nobody. Of course, people congregate to the like. Anglicans congregate to church on Sunday with Anglicans. They don't go to church with Methodists or Catholics or Jews. Jews don't even go to church. They go to synagogue if they practice. And Muslims go to mosque to pray, where men and women can't join each other. What kind of event that is. But no, you're not a racist if you want to congregate with the like. In nature, that's what happens. In life, I keep getting phone calls from South Africa. If your last four numbers are 3925, you're wasting your time. I'm not picking up that phone because I'll pay a fortune. That's my South African SIM card, and I'm getting a phone call on it. I don't want to show you this phone number and expose it, but it's from Joburg. Somebody from Joburg is calling me. I don't know why they're calling me at that number. It's been coming on all morning. Anyway, back to the comments here. I feel so strongly that there is an insidious, I think you mean, virus cloaking much of the world right now. It's always much easier to drag people down. It is. Let's get some ASA in the chat for Herman. Hey, G. Sawyer. Charles Van Onselen and Nalady. Now the DA is tasting a bit of national power. They're exposed as Kabuli theater actors. Black African 8%, colored, white, Asian. Let's go minor card. Yeah, that's pretty accurate statistics right there, bystander. It's about 7.8% white. Yep. And what else we got here in the chat? 100% nailed it, Nalady. Okay, what did Nalady say? Same crap, different flies. Okay. The junk in the trunk is from the KFC barrels. Okay. Failing fascist nation. Pablo Charlie already said that. Even if the grass is greener, when you step into those cow patties, you realize it's still the same crap. How can you be a prosperous country if the majority are people who hate people with the skin pigmentation? Well, Pablo Charlie, let me just be very clear about that. That's not the case. That's not the case. I know thousands of black South Africans. Only a handful of them hate other people. Only a handful. Only a handful. You can't generalize like that. You can't stereotype like that, Pablo Charlie. That's part of the problem. That's part of what I hope to overcome on this program with discourse back in the day when the leftist trolls and hate makers tried to sabotage my channel in the chat and then falsely report me and get me taken down and report my videos for things I didn't do because I spoke a message of harmony. I spoke the truth. When I started talking about this, this is a rather simplification, but it's a true statement. I told those who are on the right of the political spectrum, who are Afrikaners and Boer, that you're not alone. You have 2.8 million Afrikaners out of 63 million people. Sounds like you're overwhelmed, right? Well, you're not alone. First off, the other 2 million whites in the country, which make up about, there's this camera going in and out. There we go. The other 2 million whites makes almost 5 million white people in South Africa. Not that they all agree with you. I mean, we've got some white people in the ANC and EFF, Jack Markowitz. The EFF. I doubt he's even around the EFF now. He's a useful idiot who served his purpose at Brockenfell. But so that's 5 million potential people. Then you forget that the Boers made allies with the Tswana, with the Basotho. They did fight the Basotho as well, but with Basotho groups. And when you add in the 2 million Basotho and the 2.8 million Tswana, that's another 5 million. That's 10 million. Again, not everyone will go along with you, but that's 10 million potentials out of 63 million. The numbers are starting to look better. Then you consider the fact that there's 6 to 8 million coloreds in South Africa, most of whom are share a heritage with Afrikaners and share the same values. Dutch Reform members, Afrikaans-speaking people, not exclusively, but many. You throw them in, and that takes you up to about 16 million, at least 15 million. Then you've got 1.2 million Indians, many of whom feel oppressed and marginalized and have the same values and industrious attitude of Afrikaners, and that's another 1.2 million potential. And then you have even more black South Africans who feel the same way. So the potential block of people who feel the same way, feel oppressed, marginalized, and the system is corrupt is easily 15 to 20 million out of 60 million. And things suddenly look a lot different, don't they? Look a lot different. And you go from there. Pablo Charlie, it is the case that those are only 1% of the 80%. No. There's no way, Pablo, that I have been to the Northern Cape, to the Western Cape, to the Eastern Cape, to KZN, to Mpumalanga, to Gauteng, to Northwest Province. There's no way I've been to all those places over the past 25 years, 30 years, and met thousands of black South Africans, interviewed many of them, and you're going to tell me that only 1% of those people don't hate white people. That's just nonsense, Pablo Charlie. I don't know where you live and where you get that inclination from. That's simply not true. The race haters are more vocal. That's correct, Charles. They're the ones who get the attention. See, Eric is being called for supper. I knew it was coming. Empty vessels make the most noise. What's scarier, though, is evil man who will burn down his own nation just to roll over the ashes. Yep. Oh, I did miss the Free State. Thank you, Arctic. I forgot the Free State. Yeah, so 8 of the 9 provinces. The only province I've never spent time in is Limpopo. That's the only place I think I've never been. I think I may have been in Limpopo on the fringes of, but I've never been in the heart of Limpopo. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah. No, I've not been to Limpopo. Alan, you are late. No, sorry, there's no Bantu Holomisa for you to enjoy today, Alan. That's correct, Chris. Folk forget about those different groups you described. Our colored and Indian community are always forgotten. Not by me, Antoinette. Never forgotten by me. And the Khoi and San are not forgotten by me. Not ever. I remember people in South Africa. Anyway, I wanted to rubbish that claim by the police commissioner. Well, financial train wreck is what is being described for the Hull train. I don't know if anybody's traveled on. I've talked to some people who've taken it before. They liked it when it works. But the Automobile Association says the elitist Hull train should not be allowed to expand underused service. Their plan to invest $120 billion in expanding the Hull train service over 2 years is a great cause of concern. They're already getting payouts. More than 5.1 billion rand has been spent to pay Bombela, a private concessionaire, by the Gauteng Department of Roads and Transport in the past 2 financial years alone. So that's about 2.5 billion per year. It's quite clear that Gautrain failed to deliver on its ridership projections from the outset, and now the burden of funding falls on taxpayers, the majority of whom don't even use the system because it's too expensive to do so. They're in effect subsidizing a system that caters to the elite who are already mobile. And the point they try to make there is that when you go to Gautrain, they have some of the biggest parking lots in all of the province. It's for people who drive there and park and they get on the train. That's a true statement. Yeah, you don't see Gautrain in Soweto, but it was meant to be a high-speed rail network connecting the metros. So I think that people are losing sight of what it is. I'm not arguing that it's financially viable. I'm not arguing that it's a good idea. I'm not arguing it's even well planned. All I can tell you that when I've been to the train station in Joburg, it's pretty frightening. It's pretty frightening. Yeah, it's pretty scary when you go there. You feel like you're going to be mugged or something's going to happen to you the whole time you're there. Pretty scary. John Schlope is one of the most maligned individuals in the country, his lawyer tells the court. No, I think that Ronaldo Jose is one of the most maligned people in the country. Arguments are underway in an urgent appeal application that impeach Western Cape Judge John Schlope and the MK Party have lodged to interdict the Judicial Service Commission interviews from going forward next week. Schlope's advocate, Vuyane Ngolana, described the client as one of the most maligned individuals in the country when he made submissions on Friday. Wow, we're representing one of the most maligned individuals in the country. Oh my goodness, that doesn't mean he should go forward. Well, the Bulls. Jake White says that Montezima's heart issue after the Edinburgh game. Wow. Sifiwe Montezima apparently had a heart issue, which he didn't tell anybody about. Bulls director Rugby Jake White revealed that loose head prop Sifiwe Montezima had taken to hospital after last week's game over Edinburgh. Montezima was under the weather on the morning of the game, but tight head prop Wilco Lowe also making a late withdrawal. He felt compelled to play. Understandably, Montezima wasn't part of the match day 23 that features 13 Springboks this game this weekend. Wow. He was taken to hospital and kept for a few days for observation. My goodness. Jake White, who named the match day 23 packed with 13 Springboks of varying age experiences, including fullback Villy LaRue, said Montezima may have been overwhelmed by the need to play through illness because Wilco Lowe's late withdrawal. Well, what a trooper, man. But he put his health at risk. He had a serious heart issue, apparently from some viral infection. So, Sifiwe Montezima, brother, way to be a team member, but take care of yourself. Take care of yourself. That's you got to take care of your health. You have nothing else. Nothing else. Well, folks, I missed Guinea's. I think it was Guinea's National Day yesterday, so my apologies for that. But I missed that because that email slipped through. But the State Department, under wink and blink and a nod, does put these things out for national days for Africa, which I pay attention to. On behalf of the United States government, I wish the people of the Kingdom of Lesotho a warm Independence Day on October 4th and celebration of Lesotho's bicentennial. The United States stands with the government of the Kingdom of Lesotho and its people through shared challenges and triumphs. We value our partnership around key issues including peace and security, economic growth, health, and democratic principles. The people of the United States wish the Kingdom of Lesotho a very happy 58th Independence Day. Well, there you go. The land of Mkhwebane. Well done. He survived. The country exists to this day. Antoinette says, thanks, Chris. You have a great knowledge of our history and culture. It's like listening to a legit South African. Yeah, which is all the more comical when you always see this, why is this American here? What does this American want? Who is he to talk about South Africa? It's just comical. Well, turning our attention to the Democratic Republic of Congo and yet another tragic boat capsizing. We've seen it in Nigeria. We've seen it off the coast of Djibouti, and now we're seeing it here in the DRC. 78 people killed. At least 58 have been rescued after a boat carrying 278 people sinks. At least 78 people died after a boat capsized in Lake Kivu in the eastern DRC. The governor of South Kivu province, Jean-Jacques Parissi, told the Reuters news agency on Thursday 270 people had been aboard the boat before it overturned. The boat, which had come from the town of Minova in South Kivu, sank Thursday morning, only 100 meters from its destination at the shore of Goma. Wow, so close, 100 meters away. How did all these people die 100 meters from shore? Did they get washed away? It's a lake. Obviously, they must not be able to swim. Well, who knows they can sing. They must not be able to swim. Israel. Leaders give defiant address. Israeli strikes on key road at the border. Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, Iran's supreme theocratic, kleptocratic, fascist ruler, delivered a rare sermon on Friday in which he said Iran's strikes against Israel this week were totally legal and legitimate. No, they weren't. Israeli strikes cut off key border crossing between Lebanon and Syria as the Israeli Defense Forces escalated its offensive with overnight strikes in Beirut's southern suburbs. Well, there you go. Yeah, totally legal and legitimate. Nope, it's not. Sorry about that, Ayatollah. You're wrong. G7 finally takes action. The UN is yet to do so. G7 leaders condemn the Iranian unprovoked crime against humanity missile attack against Israel. Israeli military says in total Hezbollah launched 240 rockets over the border from southern Lebanon on Wednesday. People standing atop the remains of an Iranian missile in the Negev desert. These are some really stupid people. And what kind of parents are these to let your kids climb up on top of a missile? You do realize, you morons, that the thing is loaded with explosives, right? How stupid are people? I mean, honestly, how stupid are people? It's already been marked in Hebrew. They should know better than climb on it. You see, it's been painted on by security forces. Wow. This is the Darwin principle here. You know, the dumb will not survive. That's fine. Let the kids play. President Joe Biden joined with leaders from the rest of the group of 7 nations, Canada, France, Germany, Italy, Japan, the United Kingdom, in expressing their dismay at Iran's 1 October missile salvo. He does so on 4 October. We, the leaders of G7, expressed deep concern over the deteriorating situation in the Middle East and condemned the strongest terms Iran's direct military attack against Israel. Yep, there you go. Long overdue. Well, China's nuclear arsenal may soon surpass that of the United States. My goodness, we got rid of all our nukes and now we're going to be outnumbered. There's a new Cold War. China's rapid buildup of nuclear assets could be much larger than the current U.S. government assessments, according to former Pentagon Strategic Affairs analyst Mark Schneider. Beijing is engaged in the world's largest missile modernization program. Its nuclear delivery vehicle program is the most visible aspect of what is being called nuclear breakout by American military commanders. Wow. In combination, the 2022 and 2023 reports stated that China has 500 plus operational nuclear warheads, growing to 1,000 in 2030 and 1,500 by 2035. Why? Why does China need nuclear weapons? We've not threatened them with nuclear weapons. European Union has imposed its oppressive regime on member states, directing and dictating that they take action contrary to national laws, usurping national state sovereignty, in yet another effort to turn Brussels into the government of Europe. European Union nations must recognize legal gender changes across the bloc, according to a court. The court sided with Ariane Mizrafi-Ahi, a transgender who sued home country of Romania for refusing to accept the gender changes initiated in Britain. Notice I dropped all pronouns from that. European Union's court ruled Friday that member states must recognize legal changes in gender identity processed elsewhere within the EU in a case with far-reaching implications, usurping the sovereignty of member states. The Court of Justice for the European Union sided with Ariane Mizrafi-Ahi, a transgender who sued country of home origin Romania for refusing to accept the name and gender changes. Gender, like a first name, is a fundamental element of personal identity, the court said. A divergence between identities resulting from such a refusal of recognition creates difficulties for a person in proving his or her identity in daily life, as well as serious professional, administrative, and private inconvenience. And on that note, I identify as Elon Musk. Could I please have my $46 billion of income from the sale of Tesla stock 2 years ago? Please, give me my money. I am Elon Musk. Don't you know me? I'm Elon Musk. You don't recognize me? I have 9 children from 43 women. Don't you recognize me? I'm Elon Musk. It's my truth. I'm identifying as Elon Musk. Give me my money. Italy and Switzerland have moved their border. And there's no war. They didn't go to war. They just moved the border because the glaciers are melting. No, it's climate change. Unlike most border changes that often happen due to conflicts, there is no dispute between Italy and Switzerland. And this is near the Matterhorn, the iconic Matterhorn. Switzerland and Italy redrew their shared border in the Alps last week, forced by melting glaciers that, along with vast snowfields define large sections of the territorial boundary between the Central European neighbors. Yep. In the high mountains, significant sections of the Italian-Swiss border are determined by the watershed, represented by the crest line of glaciers, snowfields, and perpetual snow, the Swiss government explained. However, with the melting of the glaciers, these natural elements revolve and redefine the national border when it is defined dynamically. Okay, so Italy lost a few meters of land to Switzerland. The European Union takes Hungary to the European Court of Justice over sovereignty laws, trying to usurp their sovereignty. European Commission says the sovereignty laws breached a series of rights enshrined in European Union law. European Commission decided to refer Hungary to the Court of Justice because it considers its national law on the defense of sovereignty to be in breach of EU law. Hungary has said that sovereignty laws were established to criminalize foreign funding for election campaigns and establish a sovereignty protection office with broad investigative powers. But the EU says that doesn't work. Well, folks, this is the death of sovereignty in Europe. The European Union, what started as the European Coal and Steel Community, became the Common Market, and the European Union eventually has stolen sovereignty from hundreds of millions of Europeans who no longer can decide what their electrical mains look like, what they're allowed to call each other, what they're allowed to do. And it's going to lead to the breakup of the European Union. Just a matter of time. Hungary may be the first to leave. Well, too much of a good thing in Argentina, folks. Too much of a good thing. 2 Argentina towns face a torrent of harassment. No, it's not from trolls. It's from parrots. Thousands of burrowing parrots have swooping into Pedro Luro and Hilario Ascabuy in Argentina have resulted in constant power outages in streets blanketed by poop. Parrots sit on power lines on September 24th. Over the past year, the Argentinian rock radio station has twice had its antenna wrecked. Short circuits have fried gear left and right, and relentless power outages, sometimes hitting twice a day, have plunged Taxi FM into sudden silence. Who's responsible? A flock of burrowing parrots that overran 2 neighborhoods in rural Argentina, Buenos Aires province. Wow. Thousands and thousands of birds, and they're not only biting through the cables, but their massive weight is also bending the power lines. At dawn, when they start flying out, the stretched out cables bounce into each other, and that's how we have short circuits and power outages. Wow, it's not just as radio stations face unexpected bills. Fried equipment, damaged power lines, constant outages, and repairs have cost the electric companies more than 75 million pesos, or about $77,000. The parrots' pesky antics have also interrupted workdays and schooling, ravaged fields, caused events to be canceled, and raised growing concerns about diseases. Wow. Especially after a dearly beloved neighbor died in 2022 from pisticosis, a bacterial infection transmitted by birds known as parrot fever. Residents staged a protest against the parrots early this year. I'm sure the parrots really didn't pay attention. This is an unsustainable situation that needs an immediate solution. Here you can see 2 parrots perched on a switch box and cables. When you have 10 birds, it's cute. But when you have thousands, it turns into a person's worst nightmare. It's the birds. Wow. Here's an overhead view of the area with birds all over the place. My goodness. Since at least 2019, the town has tried every imaginable method to chase the birds away. Start shooting them. Start shooting them, man. Shotguns work. Shotguns work. Just saying. It's the birds. That's right. Alfred Hitchcock, the birds. Woo. What else we got in the chat over here as the audience just diminishes? Where's everybody going? What's wrong with standing ranges? It always makes me feel like Dr. Strangelove. If the planet killer asteroid arrives, I won't complain. Well, firing the missiles isn't going to work. That was Armageddon. Bruce Willis. Oh, boy. Have you seen the gifts traditional leaders of Free State received from the bankrupt government heritage? I did not see that. I'm sure it cost a fortune. Just to watch a video on pre-94 railway, sadly, instead of expanding to include more poor communities, it has been run to the ground. Yeah, well, I have a fantastic book given to me by one of our viewers, whom I don't know if he's with us anymore. Miss him. Fran Corp. Lovely guy. Johannes. He gave me this book on the South African rail system. It's absolutely wonderful. Sorry, I'm talking away from the microphone. A lovely book, History of South Africa's Rails. They were amazing. Yeah, the miss could still be armed, Charles. That's my point. Idiots. Evolution works. Yeah, exactly. The Darwin principle. Yep. What's wrong with standing armaments? Always makes you feel like Dr. Oh, gotcha. You feel like Dr. Strangelove. Been here since the beginning, but didn't hit the send button. Oh, there you go. Hey, Marilyn. Got your message through. Hey, Richard Kuhn is here. Slippery Pickle. How I learned to love the bomb, right? When I come across individuals who identify with multiple pronouns. Yeah, exactly. Kids didn't have identity crisis when they played outside with other kids. This all started when kids got phones and social media. Yeah, when they had access to a wider bunch of people who are predators and people preying on children, which now are endemic in our preschools, our kindergartens, our elementary schools, sick, twisted people with mental illness who tell children it's okay to experiment when they're 5 and 6 years old. It's sick. The worst is when they crap on the car. I agree, Slippery Pickle, because that stuff is acidic and it can eat through the coating on your paint. For a while, it's fun to debate, then into a corner, but all right, that film terrified me as kids. Yeah, Flesh, and I remember that kid. Yep, I remember that kid. Striking port workers the longshoremen return to work, but only until January, trying to save a shameful, naked point to save Kamala Harris's campaign. Yeah, the story by Vanessa Yukovic and Chris Isidore. Striking members of the International Longshoremen Association are back to work today. After the Thursday, they reached a tentative deal with management. The agreement amounts to $4 per hour raise. That's 60 Rand per hour. No, 80 Rand, excuse me, for each year of the 6-year contract. That amounts to a first-year raise of 10% on top of the $39 they currently make. Subsequent 5 years would see the raises go up by a total of 62%. 62%. So this is just tentative. So they've already gotten 62% more. All they're missing is 15 to get the 77 that they asked for. So they're going to go on strike in January when Trump comes in office to cripple the economy. Watch. You heard it here, right here. When Trump has won the election, he's been certified as an ex-president. They will strike again to destroy the economy and blame Trump for it. And they'll say, well, the Democrats worked the solution out. It was Trump that screwed it up. Watch, watch, watch. Greedy bastards. And this prick here is 77-year-old rich, arrogant asshat right there. There he is. Yep. Union leader's response when asked if he's worried that the strike will hurt America. He doesn't care. This prick has a 7,000 square foot house and drives a Bentley, making about $700,000 a year. What a piece of feces. Well, hey, folks, guess what? Joe Biden is not at Rehoboth Beach. He's not on vacation in Delaware anymore. He's out on the job. He's out on the job. That's right. Joe Biden is in Florida. Biden visits Florida and Georgia to survey hurricane damage. And you see here, members of the Federal Emergency Management Administration are teaching Joe what a map looks like. Joe, this is Florida. This is the state you lost in 2016 and in 2020. This is Florida. Joe, see map, Joe? See Joe stand? See Joe look puzzled? President Joe Biden continued his tour of areas impacted by Hurricane Helene, visiting Florida and Georgia. He delivered remarks after surveying the damage in Ray City. In moments like this, it's time to put politics aside. If only that were the case. If only that were the case. Hurricane Helene, speaking of politics, victims are waiting. FEMA has no money after they gave all that money to illegal immigrants. Homeland Security Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas warned that the Federal Emergency Management Agency is out of money as it scrambles to help flood-ravaged areas of Georgia and North Carolina. Stranded residents are begging for help and reporting that the federal government is yet to show up or provide any aid in the aftermath of Hurricane Helene. Mr. Mayorkas said FEMA needs additional funding, but Republicans are angry over the agency's massive spending on illegal immigrants while desperate flood victims await for more help. Donnie Loftus, Republican in the state legislature from Hendersonville, North Carolina, has seen no sign of FEMA or any federal agency. I haven't seen any federal folks. I haven't seen FEMA or local emergency crews. It's just neighbor helping neighbor. And we have Pete Buttjob there, Buttigieg, telling people not to fly their drones trying to rescue people when the government's not there rescuing people. The criticism has risen with revelations that programs under FEMA spent more than $1 billion over the past 2 years, including $380 million allocated in late August to help communities settle thousands of illegal immigrants encountered at the southern border. So the Biden regime has allowed criminal alien invaders into our country, and they've spent $1 billion to put them and dump them in our neighborhoods. And I see it locally right here. I see people who are not from here. We have black folks from here. We have Indians from here. We have Arabs from here. Yes, I know who those people are. We have people who are not from here, illegal criminal invaders of our country being dumped in our neighborhood, clogging up our streets, clogging up our schools, clogging up our health services, clogging up our parking lots, and consuming our goods and driving prices up and competing with rents that are being paid at higher rates by the government for them at our expense. Yeah. $380 million allocated August, a month ago, for criminal alien invaders. That's $380 million that could have been dispersed for emergency aid in this storm. The purpose of the Federal Emergency Management Agency is not to help facilitate the criminal invasion of America and the social disintegration of America by a cabal of communist scumbags in Washington, D.C. It's time to disband FEMA. They're useless. They're useless. Wow. Donald Trump says the Harris-Biden administration says they don't have any money. They spent it all on illegal migrants. A certain president, I will not name him, destroyed his reputation with Katrina, and this is doing even worse. He's talking about Bush. Yeah, but Bush didn't destroy his reputation. Donald Trump's being dishonest there. He doesn't know the facts. I know the facts. Alejandro Mayorkas warns that FEMA has no money. Wow. Never mind any more storms. Look at this bald-headed wonder. Yep. Do you shave that every day, buddy? Agency stretch as it works with states to assess damage. Now, this AP story is intellectually and journalistically dishonest. They don't tell you where the money went. AP reports they have no money, but they don't say it's because they spent it on criminal alien invaders. There's no mention of that in this story. Nowhere. They don't talk about it. And that is what we call dishonest journalism. Cherry picking the story. But here is the Blaze telling us where it went. You ready for this? FEMA's Shelter and Services Program is a prime offender providing financial support to non-federal entities to provide humanitarian services to non-citizen migrants, criminal alien invaders, following their release from the Department of Homeland Security. The intent is to support them in a safe, orderly, humane release of non-citizen migrants from short-term holding facilities, jail. The total funding made available for this program in fiscal year 2024 was $650 million. The funding total in fiscal year 2023 was $363 million. Hundreds of millions were previously awarded by FEMA for migrants through the Emergency Food and Shelter Program. Earlier this year, nearly $19.6 million of FEMA funds was used to pay for an illegal alien welcome center in San Diego County. Wow. In response to this, Mayorkas turning out empty pockets, Texas Governor Greg Abbott wrote, "This is easy. Mayorkas and FEMA immediately stopped spending money on illegal alien immigration and resettlement and redirect those funds to areas hit by hurricane. Put Americans first." FEMA spending over $1 billion on illegals while they leave Americans stranded without help is treasonous. This is an impeachable offense, ladies and gentlemen. The Biden administration, Harris and Biden should be, along with Alejandro Mayorkas, should be impeached for this treason. This is an impeachable offense. Leaving Americans hanging. Unbelievable. We earned this country. We fought for this country, and you crap on us. Puerto Ricans are an American possession. They're American citizens by default. They don't pay income taxes, but they're citizens. Employers gained 254,000 jobs in September in an effort by the Washington Post to throw the election for Kamala Harris, reporting on this dismal news as if it's good news. U.S. employers added 254,000 jobs in September, signaling signs of strength in the labor market. Really? Look at 2024. Monthly change in non-farm jobs. Nothing. Now, 2021, 2022, to be fair, were skewed because a lot of people were coming back to work after the COVID scam. But September 2024, it is up on the previous 5 months, which is good, but it's still not impressive. So, there you go. And here's the true story. Layoffs, not job hires. Layoffs are up 53% this month from last year. So they may have hired 254,000 people, but 53% more people were fired in September than the previous year. See how they skew statistics? Year-to-date playoffs are the highest level since 2020. New data show that while employers handed out fewer pink slips in September than in August, the number was at a 5-month high, according to recruitment from Challenger Gray Christmas. U.S.-based employers announced 73,000 job cuts. They're up 53% from last year. So there you go. There you go. Voter registration in Pennsylvania is looking good for Donald Trump. That's right. Trumpito, I will vote for Donald Trump. Remember that song? Yep. Democrats have been losing voters in Pennsylvania over the past 4 years, and Republicans are salivating over the prospect of President Trump recapturing the biggest swing state on November 5th. Nearly 300,000 registered Democrats have dropped off of the rolls since 2020. Well, that's because a lot of them weren't even real. And Republicans have netted 50,000 new registered voters in a state that Biden won by 80,000. Yeah, well, we're not going to discuss that. In Luzerne County, near Biden's hometown of Scranton, Biden is not from Scranton. He was born there and left there a few days later. Okay, I guess I'm from Baltimore, even though I've only spent days of my life there. Democrats held a 20,000 registered voter advantage in 2020. As of last week, they trail Republicans by a few hundred votes. Wow. In 2020, when there weren't more Republicans registered there, he won the county, Luzerne County. Yeah, that's not Scranton. Scranton is in Lackawanna County, but Luzerne County is nearby. The change in registration is almost all on the Democratic side. Luzerne County had 106,000 Democratic voters in 2020 and about 86,000 is the latest tally. Republicans' registration rose from 86 to 87,000. Independents and third-party candidates stayed the same. Democratic numbers slid from 4.2 million in the state to 3.9 million nationwide. Wow. Republicans gained 50,000 to reach 3.6 million in the state. Yep. There you go. We got this nonsense coming from Bucks County. While Pennsylvania Republicans continue to throw up roadblocks to voting, including trying to ban the use of drop boxes and drop-off sites. Yeah, because it's crooked. Democrats are talking to Pennsylvanians about the issues that matter most to them. No, you're not. No, you're not. You're not talking. What's Kamala Harris talking about the issues? No one's talking about the issues. What a bunch of nonsense. Charlie Garreau, Harrisburg-based Republican strategist, said Democrats are mistaken if they think the improvement in Republican Party registration is a problem. That is eating a gloomy sandwich on happy bread, he said. He said it's impossible to write off the shift in voter registration solely on the realignment of working white class voters. This is a wave of new voters and younger voters who are registering in numbers far greater than Republicans than Democrats. Yeah, I know Charlie Garreau. Yep, he's a strategist here. Well, folks, I'm sure you'll be heartwarmed to know that Liz Cheney is campaigning and voting for Kamala Harris. Not a surprise. Republicans say the broad coalition voting for Vice President Harris is the Republican is putting patriotism ahead of partisanship. Republican Liz Cheney is campaigning with Democratic presidential hopeful Kamala Harris and urged voters in the United States to reject the depraved cruelty of her rival, former President Donald Trump. Depraved cruelty. How about we ignore the deranged lunacy of Liz Cheney? She said, I never voted for a Democrat, but this year I'm proudly casting my vote for Vice President Kamala Harris. Well, I voted for a Democrat in the past. I vote for the best candidate. Rarely is it a Democrat, but on a few occasions it has been a Democrat. She's never voted, so she's just a party activist, except she's a treasonous party activist in this case. Putting patriotism ahead of partisanship is not an aspiration, it's our duty. Well, yeah, except that you're a liar, Liz Cheney. You're a fraud. You didn't put patriotism ahead. You abandoned patriotism for partisan politics. Well, here's another roadblock waiting for Trump when he comes in office. The Environmental Protection Agency is putting in place new rules and regulations which are going to cripple meat packing plants. Our abattoirs will be out of business and will have a shortage of processed meat as courtesy of the Biden regime's EPA. EPA touts rules as necessary to control contamination from wastewater, while critics say the rules go too far and exemplify federal overreach. Dozens of meat processing plants expected to shut down under the new rules. Especially food prices, especially meat and poultry, have skyrocketed in the past 4 years and could be exacerbated further next year when new EPA rules for meat processors go into effect. Wow. The Department of Agriculture's food price outlook for September reported that beef and veal prices had increased for 6 straight months and predicted they would rise 5.2% overall this year. Poultry prices also rose, but it was by a smaller amount. And the Environmental Protection Agency announced a proposed rule change governing effluent or wastewater limits for meat and poultry processors goes into effect in August 2025, just in time to undermine the new administration of Donald Trump. Yep. Well, Memphis officers who beat Tyree Nichols to death face no threat, according to one who testified. Former Memphis officer Emmett Martin III already pled guilty, said he and his fellow police lied about the fatal attack. And there he is, a black officer who beat a man to death. One of the former officers charged with fatally beating a black motorist last year testified in the federal civil rights trial of his former colleagues this week, offering a first insider account of the actions police caught on camera using force. Emmett Martin III, who struck a plea deal on the federal charges but still faces state murder charges, said Nichols had not committed a felony when he was pulled over, nor was he resisting arrest during the violent encounter in which police punched him, kicked him, and struck him with a baton. When officers yanked Nichols out of his vehicle and later struck him multiple times, he was helpless and wasn't a threat. Nichols, a 29-year-old FedEx employee with a young son, died in a Memphis hospital 3 days after beating. Photos of his injuries and videos of his treatment at the hands of the officers sparked protest and demands for change. Martin, Tadarius Bean, Demetrius Haley, Justin Smith, and Desmond Mills were charged with murder in state court as well as federal civil rights violations. Now, why was the civil rights violation? Because he was black? If he was beaten to death, he was white, would that get a civil rights violation? It should. It should. 3 of the officers found guilty in federal charges in the slaying. Body camera audio in the aftermath of the arrest of Tyree Nichols in Memphis showed officers laughing with one another as they recounted the beating. One of the 3 former police officers arrested last year in the beating of death of black motorists was found guilty of civil rights abuses, while the other 2 officers were found guilty of witness tampering. What they don't tell us is the race of the officers. And this story in the Washington Post covers up the fact that he was beaten to death by black officers because they try to stoke racial hatred. They mention that he's black, and they incorrectly list the adjective black with a capital letter. It's not a proper noun, it's an adjective. Yeah, shame on them. Well, Melania Trump has done something bizarre, and maybe she can't be trusted here. Melania Trump says she supports the right to abortion. There is no right to abortion. It's murder. You have no right to abortion. You can have a privilege extended to you to terminate a life, but it's not a right. Melania Trump, President Trump's wife, has said there's no room for a compromise over a woman's right to have an abortion, a position at stark odds with the president. Individual freedom is a fundamental principle that I safeguard. Well, Melania Trump, you are wrong, and I won't be buying your book. So, here's a scary thought, folks. Some college students have taken glasses and modified them to do facial recognition and out people's personal information. They just walk around and expose people. It's pretty scary. Anupu Nguyen said, "Are we ready for a world where our data is exposed at a glance?" They offer an answer in this video.
Glasses that let you identify anybody on the street. The information our tool collects from just a photo of your face is staggering.
So they just take these glasses and then they walk around and they look at this. He's wearing glasses and it zeroes in on this guy. And then they find his images online. And from that, they build all kinds of data about him. Personal details. 21-year-old guy. It has his address. Using AI tells you all about him. Wrote an essay on Sanskrit literature. Wow. And then this is the lady that he was talking to who's freaking out. She thinks it's funny. I don't think it's funny. This is pretty frightening.
Right? Oh, this is me volunteering.
June Lee, right?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
This photo was created. This is like from.
You're from Bergen County Academies.
Yeah.
Your Korean name is Ju-eun?
Wow. That's pretty scary, folks. That's been done by 2 dudes. Just a matter of time. Skynet is here. So you have no privacy. You walk around the streets. You walk around the streets of London or of Joburg, Pretoria, Nelson Mandela Bay, or some Craddock, somewhere remote out in the bush. Go to Zeros, and some dude's got glasses on, and they're stealing your identity. Wow. Wow. And if you think you can hide, you can't. This is a frightening prospect. The hits keep coming as 4th NCAA women's volleyball team cancels a match over transgender player. Utah State University has become the 4th school to withdraw from its match against San Jose State. Women's volleyball squad, an undefeated team at the center of a transgender athlete uproar. Utah State University will not participate in a scheduled October 23rd match against San Jose. The university will abide by Mountain West Conference policy regarding how this match is recorded. In other words, they'll forfeit. The decision follows out of 3 other universities, Southern Utah, Boise State, and Wyoming, to refuse to play the Spartans, whose starting lineup includes redshirt senior Blair Fleming, a player identified by multiple sources as male to female transgender student. San Jose has not commented publicly on the forfeits or on Fleming's gender identity. Utah Governor Spencer Cox said he supports decisions by Southern Utah and Utah State, blasting the NCAA for failing to protect our female athletes. It's essential we preserve a space for women to compete fairly and safely. Our female athletes are left grappling with this difficult issue because the NCAA has failed its responsibility to protect female athletes and women's sports. It's time for the NCAA to take it seriously and protect our female student athletes. Agreed. San Jose State plays in the Mountain West Conference, a Division I program. NCAA allows male-born players who identify as female to play women's sports based on gender identity under the policies of national governing bodies. Well, there you go. So that's the 2nd time this has happened. Or 4th time, 4th school. So we have these ships at sea. We know about this. We know of these ships that get sunk, these cargo container ships. They have cargo, or these containers fall off these ships. What happens to all that stuff? Have you ever wondered? I mean, there's toxic minerals in there, metals in there, plastic in there, food. That'll biodegrade pretty quickly. All kinds of things. So what happens? Well, the Washington Times gives us a little photo essay of this, and we'll take a look at this. Let's take a look at this. So this image is provided by WK Webster, shows dislodged containers on the cargo ship One Apis in Osaka Bay, Japan on December 7th, 2020, after the ship hit heavy swells on a voyage from China to California. Look at all those containers shifted on that ship. That's crazy. So this is a combination of June 17th of this year shows a plastic turkey, a container of tennis balls, a child's helmet, a toy football, plastic squirt gun, and Crocs shoes found by Russ Lewis walking on the beach in Washington State. Here's an image of a video provided from the Monterey Bay Aquarium Research Institute, which shows fish and other sea life around a shipping container lost from a cargo vessel, Med Taipei, during a storm in February 2004. This was found 1,280 meters below the surface of the Monterey Bay National Maritime Sanctuary in 2013. That container was dropped in 2004. That's 9 years later. Good God. So here's a man looking at the Panamanian registered container ship MSC Chitra that days earlier collided with the MV Kailicha II, a St. Kitts registered vehicle, in the Arabian Sea near Mumbai in 2010. This is the Geosound salvaging ship lifting a container from the seabed of the northwestern coast of the Netherlands on January 21st, 2019, after the MSC Zoe freighter was caught in a heavy storm earlier in the month. Look at that. Gee, many crickets. This is a March 30, 2021 photo provided by John Brack and friends of Midway Atoll. Shows a refrigerator that washed up on the shore of Midway in a national wildlife refuge for millions of seabirds near the Hawaiian Islands. Wow. Good God. And this is a file photo from the Sri Lankan Air Force. Smoke rising from the container vessel Express Pearl engulfed in flames off Colombo Port, Sri Lanka on May 26, 2021. Wow. A Sri Lankan Navy soldier wearing protective suit walks on mounds of debris that washed ashore from the burning ship I just showed you. Wow. And people walk past stranded containers in the area between Tranum and Slet Beach in Denmark on December 23rd, 2023, a day after a Maersk ship dropped 46 containers off the coast. Wow. A person walking past the detritus, or detritus, as the Brits say, in the area between Tranum and Slet Beach in Denmark one day later. Look at all this stuff that washed up on the shore. Good Lord. A volunteer holds plastic pellets spilled from a transport ship collected from a beach in Spain on January 9th, 2024. Russ Lewis collects garbage along Long Beach Peninsula in Pacific County, Washington. That's all that in that bin is from the beach that washed up from the sea. And here are gantry cranes loading cargo on container ships at the port of Quang Tang in Hong Kong. That's from 2019. Here are more containers being piled up. This one's at the German rail station in Frankfurt, the Deutsche Bahn. And that's the guy, Russ Lewis, driving along the beach peninsula, picking up rubbish from sea. Wow. Pretty crazy stuff there. Right. What do we got over here in the chat? See some other folks have popped in here. Is imperialism a bad thing? I don't think so, maybe because I don't know too much about it. Well, it depends on your perspective. If you're the guy in charge, it's pretty good. This would appear to be a prelude to what we expect in this country. It's usually the other way around. It's not all right. The whole, yep. I love my steak, says Charles. I could give a damn, got nothing to hide and tons to educate. There you go, Spiker Hunt. What else we got there? They hack me. They want to kill me simply over the words I use to swear at them. Marilyn says that glasses video is truly terrifying. It is, Marilyn. It absolutely is. I could just do this. I could, and it's especially terrifying for those with state secrets and for business who are worried about industrial espionage. I mean, what are you going to do? Stop people from wearing glasses? I mean, I have to wear glasses a lot of the time for reading now because the damage to my eye. Not for distance. I can see the screen perfectly fine, but up close, a little fuzzy here. So if I pull out my reading glasses and put them on, they could have cameras in them right there. There could be a camera and transmitters built into the arms, and I could be transmitting and pulling up the data and popping up my phone right here, feed it to an app, just like that. All this information. Wow, that's crazy. Where do vegans meet? A dildo. Okay. Bystander says, I'll communicate with a friend and if adverts or something related with pop-up on my socials. Well, that's because your phone is listening to you. People don't realize this, but you got to be careful and go in your settings and make sure every app that you don't want it to monitor you, like Alphabet and Google, aren't monitoring what you're saying. Some people sit and watch television and they mention something in a conversation, and next thing you know, an advert pops up on a streaming service because it's been catered to you. Good show this one, Chris, says Jan Fiona. Well, thank you for that, Jan. Like James Bond with a rat trap in his... Nick Jordan said literally does image matching and scrapes the page data. Yep, exactly. And aggregates data from all over. Story about Michael Schumacher. No, what happened to Schumacher? Don't trust the internet when you verify with personal SIM card and combination online accounts. Why is there a higher percentage of male to female transgender people from male? I don't know the answer to that question other than there's serious mental health issues around the world. Yep. Surely makes a ship. Yeah, highly unstable, Charles, if those things get flipped. Or use emails respectively on different browser applications. Get the SIM there. Okay. Charmaine says, because women have more privileges than men do. Ooh, okay. Well, I mean, maybe it's more. Look, maybe it's just more attractive for men to become women than for women to become men. I mean, I don't know. I suppose the appeal is you get to wear makeup and dress up and make yourself look pretty and add things. I don't know. I have no idea. I can't answer a question like that. That fridge makes an excellent nesting place. It does for turtles. It's only the transitions we're aware of. I see your point. Ellen Page decided to become Elliot Page. Yeah, exactly. Never verify X. They're full of crap preaching data privacy and simply waiting 40 hours anyways to ask for your SIM card. Well, I've never been asked for my SIM card on Twitter. Not to mention the risk for fiberglass yachts hitting a container floating just at... Yep. Yeah, exactly. Oh, that's a good point, Keith. There's an open attack on men and masculine in the world. Real masculine men can't be controlled. They'll fight and protect their families and their country. Shania Twain, man, what I feel like he certainly has a new dimension. Yeah, that's right. It sure does. I bet that technology exists. Yeah, no, it already exists, but companies weren't willing to put it out because of the potential lawsuits and the liability that's attached to it. No, my phone got tired of my crap. Now it's listening to you. He went to his daughter's wedding. Huh? Pornhub's compliance officer is practicing. Okay, what's that got to do with anything? Elliot Page is just seen in public the first time in 11 years. He's in a coma, isn't he? Michael Schumacher's in a coma, is he not? Details how Michael Schumacher communicates have emerged after the F1 legend reportedly appeared in public at his daughter's wedding. Oh, that's what you guys are talking about. Gina Schumacher tied the knot with her boyfriend at the family's luxury villa in Mallorca, which they bought for £27 million in 2017. Guests reportedly banned from taking photographs. The 55-year-old was seen virtually missing in public life since his life-changing skiing accident, which put him in a devastating coma. Huh. What else? He doesn't speak. He communicates with his eyes. Only 3 people can visit him, and I know who they are. They moved to Spain, and his wife set up a hospital in that house. Huh. So when did he come out of the coma? On December 29, 2013, his life was swiftly altered by a tragic accident while on a family vacation in the French Alps. He fell meters away from a popular ski slope that resulted in critical head injuries. Deciding to go off-piste, Schumacher was unaware of some boulders concealed by a snowfall. His skis clipped one boulder, and the sudden force catapulted in the air and left him powerless to avoid a head-first collision with another rock. Fractured skull and left with a brain injury. Ski rescue was there within minutes. He was conscious, but was unable to answer questions, was moving erratically. It's thought that his injuries, which would have almost certainly been fatal had the former driver not been wearing a helmet, were exacerbated by a 2009 motorcycle accident. 6 months in coma. Okay, I thought he'd been in coma all this time. That's how much I pay attention to Michael Schumacher. Wow, we've lost a lot of people. Where'd they all go? I know where they went. Traders. I know where they're at. I'll bet you he's probably streaming at my time. Let me look and see. I guarantee it. Yeah, you traders went over there to stuff up his channel and fill it up. Begone, traitors! Yeah, you're here, Arctic. I know. I'm saying the traders be gone. If I stay around till 2 o'clock, they'll come back, but I'm not going to do that. Microplastics is a real problem. You're right, Moonbase. It is a real problem. Born machine jockey. Yeah. Still here, says Pablo Charlie. Garrett says we're here. And says who? Ronaldo? That's right. Bid gone, traders! I bid you farewell. No current ex-policeman on Fridays. Oh, no current or ex-politicians on Fridays. Okay. Everybody's doing right. Let me do a silly poll. Are you still here? See how many people answer it. That would be funny. Anyway, folks, it is Friday. Tomorrow we've got 4 rugby matches. Oh, I'm going to be knackered. Oh, 4 rugby matches. Got 4 matches. Last one being the Stormers. So the Bulls, the Lions, the Sharks, and the Stormers all play tomorrow. The Stormers are playing Zebra Parma in Zebra. Could they at least win this game? Good Lord. Could they please win this game? Yeah. Dead! Bring out your dead! Oh, I'm not dead. Shh. I'm not dead. Shh, quiet. Not quite dead. Poof. Now you're dead. Burn her! Burn her! She's a witch! I'm not a witch. Look at her nose! They put this nose on me. Did you put this nose on this woman? Well, we did do the nose. But she's still a witch! Burn her! How do you know who is a witch? If you burn a witch, they burn. What also burns? Rocks? No. Sand? No. What also burns? Wood! Wood burns! That's correct, wood burns. And, therefore, what does wood also do? It floats! That's correct, wood floats. Therefore, if she's not a witch, she'll sink. If she is a witch, she'll float. And therefore we burn her. Oh my goodness. She's a witch. They put this nose on me. That is so funny. Ask if we're here. Need to add them comment mentally or physically. Okay, Levin. All present accounted for. All Karens today are witches. Karens. Okay. Oh my God. It's so funny. It's still funny all these years later. I watch this Indian guy on TikTok. He is so funny. Oh my gosh. I think I hate about TikTok is I can't just go find who I'm subscribed to so easy. That guy is so funny. Some of the stuff he says is so funny. Hocus Pocus will always be a great seasonal film. Oil is going up. Yeah, Pablo Charlie. I wouldn't be surprised. Wouldn't be surprised. A lot of uncertainty in the Middle East. Love you too. I love you too much to summer. Just switch it. Okay. Well, folks, I'm looking at my next trip to South Africa. I'm not sure when it'll be. I'd like to come in December, but I don't think it's going to be financially viable. So I have to look and see. Maybe January? We'll see. It depends what happens, what's going on. I will, however, once again be out of the net, not next week, but the following 2 weeks. It doesn't mean I won't broadcast. It just means I'll be broadcasting from my mobile. So you have to be patient with me on that. Oil is going up. Yep. Yeah, so don't forget that. Coming up in a few weeks. And that actually helps. When I do streams from my phone unannounced, they inform people and we get large audiences. Yellowstone is returning, what, the series? Yellowstone? I lost interest in that. I kind of do like the really super hot redheaded actress who's a major slut in that show. She was also in a previous series, Britannia or whatever it is in the UK, played Anglo-Saxon. I really like that. December is miserable in the USA. Work snow, freeze my butt off, listen to rich people's problems. December's not miserable. December's lovely. October is proving to be miserable so far. We've had a sunny day once. I'll tell you what, man, I'm getting killed on the solar. I had 10 days of no solar. I mean, nothing. And I get one day, I got 30 some yesterday. What did I get yesterday? 38 kilowatt hours, something like that. Let's take a look and see. Too many apps on this phone. One more. There it is. Okay, let's take a look at yesterday. Because today's going to be nothing. I bet you it's like 2 if I'm lucky. Oh, it's 4.29. Currently getting 1 kilowatt hour instead of 6. 35.6 yesterday. And that's the most I had in 2 weeks. That's not much. 63 degrees outside, which is very lovely. Am I on Starlink? No, bystander. I don't need Starlink. I have Comcast cable, which is way too expensive, and Comcast provides my connection. So I get 1 gigabyte of download, 30 megabytes of upload, unlimited data. During COVID, they tried to limit it to 4 terabytes a month, but get unlimited data, but I'm paying a fortune for it. I pay almost 6,000 Rand per month for my internet connection. 6,000 Rand a month. Yeah, no, Xfinity. But that comes with all the cable television services. It comes with the DVR. It comes with connections in multiple rooms, and it comes with a landline, a voice over IP landline. What's the brown drink? Oh, I'm sorry, Antoinette, you didn't know that? That is Starbucks Frappuccino. It's a coffee-like drink. It's got a little bit of coffee, a lot of sugar, and a lot of milk in it. Are you sending us over Ronaldo to finish? I don't know, Keith. I think I'm not going to do it. I'm kind of on strike because Ronaldo's stealing my time and stealing my viewers. So why should I do that? People already left on their own. A friend bought 2 Starlinks. We're trying to make a plan here in South Africa. And I'm not telling anybody bystander. Starlink is great, but there are challenges with it. It's not perfect, but it sure beats the other options out there. It's also quite pricey. Wyatt's Watts not adding up. That's correct. He has the cockiest flavor. Vanilla. I don't drink vanilla Frappuccino. That is disgusting. It tastes like milk of magnesia. Ugh. It's like what you take for an upset stomach. No, I don't drink that stuff. Oof, nasty. Yeah, not my cup of tea. So 4 games tomorrow, and I did a video earlier, and that video was, by the way, we're I don't want to say comfortably, but we're over 19,025. We're gaining slowly here. But the video I did earlier was about media looking the other way on race hustling by Mkhwebane and Mashaba. I drink my coffee like a cowboy. What does that mean? Black out of a tin? Charmaine, I don't know what that means, man. My Hurricane Helene relief video, I thought that was pretty good. Nobody's watched it. My feelings are hurt. I did gain 3 subscribers for a video, only had 400 views. But my feelings are hurt, man. I thought that was a pretty good video. I put a lot of time and effort in that. Why didn't people watch it? Here it is. Check it out. We'll skip around a little bit. I had some good transitions here. There we go. That's what I want to show you. I'm going to try and look stately. Got an emblem the size of her breast on her chest. She's communicating with the Tubalard governor.
Folks, you know what's galling about all this? What's particularly galling about this is the silence. Remember all those jackasses who put up their little ribbons and said, raise money for Ukraine. If you're not with Ukraine, then you're a communist and you're an America hater, and all the nonsense and lies as we poured over $200 billion into the grifter's pocket to fuel the war that's led to the deaths of thousands of Ukrainians and Russians, civilians in particular, destroyed that region of Europe. Remember those? I was in France for the Rugby World Cup, and in some cities they still had their big flags up. We're pro-Ukraine. Where were they at for pro-Bosnia? Where were they at for pro-Georgia? Where were they at for pro-Estonia when it came under attack? Cyber attacks. But anyway, back to the point. This is just staged nonsense. Kamala Harris now finding her way down to the Carolinas for a staged photo op a week after the storm. Now look, there's some merit to not having leaders in the way, not getting down there because they don't need to be there. There's merit to that.
Look at that,
but
folks.
not a week later.
Who's going to clean that up?
Not an absolute week later. And here's the irony, and here's what makes this so annoying, is how they castigated and attacked George Walker Bush. Not a big fan, but did vote for him, in interest of full disclosure.
That video only has 400 some views. That really hurts my feelings. That thing should be getting tens of thousands. This is a good quality video, if I say so myself. Good use of visuals, good use of solid arguments, factual statements, putting things in perspective. Yeah, it goes on to talk about the $750 emergency relief that they're going to give. They have no money. They give it all to criminal alien invaders. It's unbelievable. Yep, I should do some TikToks on that. In fact, I will after this. That storm, they are, okay, everything they need. They're very happy. But I will be unemployed shortly. You can clean up. Yeah. Oh, thank you, Garrett. I appreciate that. I thought it was a very good video on my part. Yeah, but anyway. Yeah, so I see more people have drifted over to the other place. But anyway, 82 likes on this video. Appreciate that, folks. Be sure to hit the like button. I will do some TikToks, including one right now when I finish on that. I also have another video I'll be putting up about the News 24. That's a short one. So feel free to watch that and watch. How's the one I just did? Is it getting any views? The Mashaba one? Let me see. I don't think so. It doesn't look too good. Come on, YouTube. Quit putting thumb on my stuff, man. Start promoting my content. 413 views. I published that, what, an hour and a half ago? Yeah, almost 2 hours ago. 400 views. Not much. Yeah, 12 comments. Let's see what the comments are. Nativism. That's playing with semantics. Yep. South Africa could have been strides ahead if mainstream media did their job, but they simply leave emotional bloodbaths behind. Yep. Hope the world takes note of the damage they did to South Africa pre-1994. Racism is abounded since 1994. Problem is the uneducated believe and vote for them. Okay, media is a good tool of propaganda. Yep. All right, some comments on there, so I've responded to a few of those. Anyway, but yeah, 400 views. Come on, man, that sucks. Anyway, all right, so people are just, I'm like shedding viral particles here. We've gone from 100 to 54. Wow. Is Rolf here? I didn't see it. Charles is there. Leah Minar, welcome, Leah. How you going? And there's Rolf. Some say private chopper pilots are being prevented from rescue. They are. And people with drones, they're being attacked by Mayor Buttigieg, whatever, that guy. Mayor Buttigieg is telling people not to fly their drones because they're restricting airspace. Well, you're not doing anything. No one's there. People are trapped and missing and lost. Dogs and pets are trapped and missing and lost. And people are trying to rescue them on their own. No help from FEMA. In many places, the National Guard in Georgia, North Carolina, Tennessee are not there. They can't be everywhere. So people are doing it. Donations being refused. No. Did you see the mule thing? We got a company that provides mules, pack mules. They're delivering goods down there. And people from Florida who are recovering more quickly, rushing up to Georgia with relief supplies. Trump has been down there. They're putting Starlink in. Apparently, I haven't seen any updates on that. But yeah, everyone except the federal government is helping the people. Do you know why? Do you want to guess why they're not helping? Do you want to guess? There's two reasons. Number one, they don't care. They just use people. But number two, you want to know why? Who lives in Appalachia? Who lives in Appalachia overwhelmingly? That's what got hit, Appalachia. Who lives there? Melungeons, who are a mixture, but appear to be white, but a mixture of Afro, European, and some Native American, Melungeons. And white folks. White folks! That's why the government's not there. And they've given all the money away to criminal alien invaders, most of whom are not white. That's a fact, folks. That's a fact. There are Republicans, but there are also Democrats here, too. They won't be voting Democrat on November 5th. I guarantee that. North Carolina and Georgia are in the bag completely for Trump. The question is, can people get to the polling stations? That's the challenge. With roads washed out, bridges washed out, hopefully they'll fix enough conditions so that people can get to polling stations, because Kamala Harris will get destroyed in North Carolina. It's 49 to 47 nonsense is over. Trump will win decisively because of this stupidity. Good old mountain white folks. That's right, Fleshin. Yep. Cletus McFarland and his wife did sterling job. Looks like the self-help has become the norm throughout the West. Yeah, we can't count on the government to protect us. We can't count on the government to do its job. Its only job is safety of the public, and they can't do that. So there you go. Anyway, folks, that's what's going on. That's what's going on. It's crazy. Some of the footage of these storms is just unbelievable. Let me pull up one of these videos here, and we'll watch it as I talk. I mean, I don't know if you've seen all these things. It's horrific. I mean, this is devastating. Here's the weather map. I'll show you this. So here's the weather map. It's only about 6 seconds long, or 7 seconds, this video, 6 seconds. So this is what the storm looked like. This is insane. Look how big this is. So you can see the heart of it's no longer a hurricane, it's a tropical storm when it hits, and you can just see it, the yellow there and the green. It's crazy. The darker stuff is look at this. So this is rainfall. Watch this as the storm spins. This is when it came ashore. Look as it works its way through Georgia and into South Carolina. Look at that. It dumped a lot of rain. A lot of rain, folks. That's just crazy. So that was the meteorological map on it as it came through. Let me get another one up here to show you some of this stuff real quick. This is devastation in the Carolinas. Hang on a second. There you go. Look at this here. This is just insane. Watch the amount of water here as you go forward. Look at this. That's taken with a drone, which they're telling the federal government's not. You see the federal government anywhere? Nowhere. But someone's got a drone out there taking this footage. God bless them. Look at all those cars destroyed, those homes. It's game over, folks. This is biblical. This is end of days. There's a petrol station underwater. Look at all the debris. The river well over its banks. Another petrol station destroyed. This is shocking to say the least. And look at these people standing there watching their town destroyed. Unbelievable. All these semi-trucks destroyed. None of that's all rubbish now. None of that stuff's any good. You can't use that stuff anymore. All completely destroyed. Look at that. That's the petrol station up close. Look at that water coming through there. Major minor repairs since 1960. Well, not anymore, unfortunately. Look at those poles. Somehow they're managing to stand up. That's shocking. This is in North Carolina. That's just unbelievable. This is end of days biblical sort of, stuff, folks. It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. So this is what Kamala Harris had to say as she rocked up finally to talk about this situation. Melissa Blackwood, that knife chick podcaster, was stuck there for a week. Only locals came to help. I don't know who that is, Melissa Blackwood. It's so heartbreaking, Sister Charmaine. It's like a banana republic. It is. Antoinette watched my video. Thank you for that. It is massive. No, I did make the WNBA video yet. Or did I? Did I make a WNBA video? No, I didn't. I just commented on it. All right, so this is what Kamala Harris had to say.
And the federal relief and assistance that we have been providing has included FEMA providing $750 for folks who need immediate needs being met, such as food.
Baby formula, like $750. Now, this is 5 days, 6 days after the storm hit. People are dead. People are cut off. No clean water, no sewage, no food, no transportation, no hope for a week before these callous leftist scumbags even respond. Remember the outrage at George Bush? Oh, he's heartless. He hates black people. Look at him just flying over New Orleans in his Air Force One. What a callous, racist, white supremacist. Remember that? Oh, endlessly. Endlessly. That's all they talked about. Oh, George Bush is a racist. George Bush is a racist. What the hell? Idiots. A week after the event, millions of people isolated, millions of people cut off from basic services, roads destroyed, entire bridges swept away. And this jackass jackal shows up, this hyena shows up, trying to get a photo up to get votes. Why isn't Biden there? This is Biden's job, not Cackles Harris. She should be on the campaign campaigning, but she is campaigning in the Carolinas, trying to buy votes with $750 of what's left after they gave $1 billion to criminal alien invaders because they hate Americans, especially white Americans, and they reserve the greatest hatred for white Anglo-Saxon Protestant males like me, who fought for this country, who defended their rights, who protected this country so we can be sold out by these scum, these filth, these human detritus, or detritus if you like to be British. Unbelievable. Let's hear more from Cackles Harris.
Baby formula and the like. And
oh, sorry. Charles makes a very good point. $750 for what? The grocery stores are gone. They've washed away. These people still have mortgages to pay on houses that don't exist. Their houses down in the freaking Atlantic, washed down the river. They still got to pay a mortgage on it. I heard that in one of the towns that the government has nationalized the land. I don't know if that's true. They've declared eminent domain over people's property. They've confiscated the property. I haven't got confirmation of that yet. I'm still looking for it. But you're right. What is $750 when you can't buy anything? We encourage people with electricity to go online and apply for the $750. You! Cackles? Unbelievable. Callous, heartless bastards. Why is she there? Why is she there? Because there's an election on November 5th, and this goof is running.
By now, for anyone who's watching this who has been affected, there are FEMA personnel who are going door to door to interact personally with folks, especially those who do not have electricity. But also that aid, if you have electricity, can be applied for online, and I encourage people to do that. FEMA will just basically verify your address, and then the process should take hold.
As she stands in front of someone's life destroyed, you think the people of that house behind her will be able to do anything with $750 when there's nothing to buy? Now, by contrast, this was in the immediate aftermath. This took place in the immediate aftermath, folks. This video here, this guy was down there in the immediate aftermath. That's right. Let's talk about this video here. You ready for this?
Hospital.
Here we go. This is our guy. Here comes the Trumpster. Unlike doofus Joe Biden and cackling Kamala, who's showing up on the campaign trail, here is Donald John Trump in the immediate aftermath, along with Franklin Graham.
Homes, hospitals, highways, and cars have been plunged underwater. Entire neighborhoods have been turned into lakes. Nobody's seen anything like it. And to every family that's been displaced here in Georgia and North Carolina, which has really been hit, we were going there also, and they don't have communication. They don't have anything right now. We're trying to. I just spoke to Elon. I'm getting him. We want to get Starlink hooked up because they have no communication whatsoever. And Elon will always come through. We know that.
Okay, now, if you're going to criticize me because I just complained about Kamala Harris campaigning, fair point, because Donald Trump is campaigning. But Donald Trump is not in office. He's a private citizen. He's in Georgia, coordinating to get communications for people who have no communications through a private corporation. Is the Biden-Harris regime doing that? No. This was in the immediate aftermath. Within hours of this event, within a day or two, he was in the region, meeting people, dealing with their issues, trying to get them resources. And yes, he's campaigning. But he did the same thing when he's president. Meanwhile, Harris shows up a week later and says, here's $750. Apply online. Unbelievable.
And so we're working on that, getting them hooked up. They asked me whether or not that would be possible. We're going to try and get the Starlink in there as soon as possible because they have no communication. And throughout the region, our hearts are with you, and we are going to be with you as long as you need. It's called an hour of need. You're in our prayers, and we pray to God. And throughout this the long weeks that lay ahead, you're going to have a lot of work, but the end result is it's going to be good. We just wish so many people weren't so badly hurt, and in many cases, sadly, no longer with us. We love you.
Yeah, that's Donald Trump. That's a leader. Harris shows up with $750 a week later. Spare me. Check out these lines for petrol. This is a petrol line in, what's this one at? Carolina? Anyway, this is people trying to get petrol because there's no fuel. That's a partial line. That's not the entire line. That's insane. And that's all because of that storm. Trucks can't get through to deliver more petrol. People, hoarding and stockpiling stuff. Yeah, is it Nigeria or the United States? Yeah, exactly. Exactly, Pablo Charlie. Because the Biden regime is nowhere to be found. The Biden regime is nowhere to be found. Here's another video, overhead video from a drone of the devastation taking place in Western Carolinas and Georgia. And this is from a few days ago as well. That bridge is destroyed. Tributaries, just a mess. Now here, the water is already calmed down, but you see entire banks washed away, homes destroyed. Unbelievable. Look at that. I don't know how that guy climbed up on that bridge, but he's on that bridge. Look at that gap in there. Look at that town completely obliterated. People walking down there. This is biblical, folks. And never mind, don't forget that there's water pipes and sewage and electricity all underground for these places. Look at that person's house. $750. Now that's going to help a lot. Oh my God. Their lives completely upended and destroyed. We're going to have refugees from the Carolinas. Look at the debris caught in the streets there. They've obviously brought a plow in to clear the street. Look at that. Just completely washed out. Nothing left. There's a home up there in the woods. You see it? The entire bank is gone. Those people are trapped. They used to have a pathway down to the... That's just gone. It's just over. Game over here. Look at that. I mean, this is end of days, folks. And Kamala Harris offers $750. $750. Thank you so much, Joe and Kamala. Well, they got that big place up on the hill. That's still there. But they took a lot of water. My goodness. This is absolute insanity. You have to do some terraforming here. We're going to have to terraform the Carolinas to make them livable. This is insane. They have plastic they put on the road when they built it. Look at that. Under the bridge. My goodness. I mean, for millions of people, it's game over. This would completely alter the ethnic... Look at that lumber that's piled up on that what was a bridge. Good Lord. That's absolutely insane. Look at that. All jammed in there. Wow. And all that debris in there. There's hot water tanks in there. That's insane. Absolutely insane, folks. That's crazy. Yeah, we're going to see cultural alterations, population, demographics changes, the abandonment of much of this region, Western Carolinas, which are stunningly beautiful, folks. Absolutely gorgeous countryside. I've been down there in the Appalachian Mountains. It's absolutely gorgeous. North of Atlanta into the Carolinas. Just, it's unbelievable. Running all the way up here to Pennsylvania. Fortunately, we weren't in the path of that thing, although we had 10 days of rain as a consequence, and we got it back again today. But this will alter things entirely. We are going to see refugees who flee the area, those who survive, because there's nothing to come back to. You're going to have to terraform. You're going to have to get bulldozers, plows out, build embankments to contain these rivers and move the banks back, because it's all gone. It's washed away. You're going to have to completely redesign these towns. Yeah, the death toll could be over 1,000 by the time it's over. We don't even know how many people are dead. It's currently confirmed over 200 people. Some bodies may never be covered. Military could have been sent down with a tanker fitted with fuel dispensing hose. Well, not sent down, Keith. You have to remember that we have National Guard in each of these states, and that's part of their job is disaster response and preparedness. And that's what they do, along with emergency management agencies from each of these states in coordination with the federal government. So the guardsmen live in these neighborhoods. Some of them may be dead. They don't just magically show up at the armory and here they are. They've got to come from somewhere. Yeah, this is going to take probably $100 billion to be my estimate, just from what I've seen. At least $100 billion to repair, if not $250 billion. We had some minor flooding last week. My daughter said that they were waiting in sewage and that pumped flooded places, so God knows what it's like there. Yeah, it's terrible. Saw a video of train tracks twist up. Yeah, I'm sure, Maryland. It's pretty horrific. This is unbelievable. $750. Thank you, Joe. Thank you so much. And Kamala. Skulk Yandrea says, sorry for people's losses. Same here, man. I mean, it's my fellow citizens, my fellow Americans. And in the meantime, these corrupt cabal of criminal socialist, impeachable clowns known as the Biden White House, the Biden-Harris regime, have been giving our emergency relief money to take care of things like this to criminal alien invaders, dumping them in our communities, clogging up our schools, our clinics, raising our rents. Yeah, unbelievable. Unbelievable. The election, assuming people can get to the polling stations, the election in the Carolinas and Georgia is overwhelmingly now going to be Trump's. Those two are no longer battleground states. Take them off the map. Trump was already up 6 points before the storm hit. He'll push up to 10 points or more in Georgia. He'll win North Carolina by 5 to 7 points easily now. It's over. As long as people can get to the polls and vote, those two are off the table. That leaves 5 battleground states: Pennsylvania, Michigan, Wisconsin, Nevada, Arizona, and possibly Iowa. Yeah, so the race is over in the Carolina and Georgias. That will be Donald Trump's, hands down. He's won it. His immediate response, his continued action down there, his efforts to try to bring some sort of hope and relief to people, that alone is enough to push him over the top. But the indifference, the callous disregard for the safety of people because of their skin pigmentation, and nobody's saying that. You notice that? Now, look, black people are affected by this too. There's black people affected by this too. But the overwhelming majority of the population in the areas that were affected by this are white, and that's why the government's not there. But you see any commentators anywhere say this, because they're all cowards. They're all cowards. If these were lesbian, Haitian refugees, the government would be all over it. There'd be military helicopters from active duty flying in and moving people around and goods and services. Yeah, this government. If Katrina happened to this government, because New Orleans is overwhelmingly black, they'd be there. That's where they'd be. But because this is white folks, they're indifferent. And their stupidity will cost them this election. It will cost them this election. Their arrogance will cost them this election. Their theft of democracy will cost them this election. The threat to democracy, they have proven, is the Democratic Party, which stole the nomination from Joe Biden, who won it fair and square, 14.5 million people. Yep, and they selected, not elected, Kamala Harris. Yep. There you go. There you go. Has anybody seen all of those memes that are all over TikTok now? It's with the Taylor Swift song, I don't know about you. And then it switches over to the Trump song. Taylor Swift, I don't know about you. I'm voting Donald Trump, baby. It's awesome. And that's if they don't. Yeah, I know, Charmaine. I can't account for that. I'm just telling you that, and we know what really happened. I'm just telling you what happens. Pablo Charlie says, all lives matter. I'm colored and I approve this message. Well, so do I, Pablo Charlie, because skin pigmentation don't matter. If it did, then I couldn't have a relationship with Beyonce and knock out a kid. But I could. Look, I'm not saying Beyonce go for me. I'm just saying. Black Swan event. Well, there's no way to prevent us from having that event, Yako, short of a nuclear conflict. But hey, that's on the horizon too, thanks to Joe Biden and his proxy war in Ukraine. Valuable minerals in those mountains. No, not really, Maryland. There's not much up there. No, the Appalachian Mountains don't have much. They're what's left of a massive mountain chain that was resembling the Rockies, but it was much older and over hundreds of millions of years is worn down. The mountains are mostly hills, are not that high. Let me see if I can get a map of the Appalachians. Map of Appalachian Mountains. Okay, let me see if I can get a map of that. Okay, here's a couple of them. Put this in perspective. Well, that's not going to help. These are tiny little maps. What the heck? They came up tiny. Oh, my goodness. I can't make that full screen. That sucks. Yeah, this is kind of a juvenile looking, but it's probably the best one. So here's the Appalachian Mountains. And that map there, the entire East Coast from North Georgia and into, well, that's not entirely accurate. That's the Appalachian Mountains, but Appalachia extends further west than that into Ohio. But that's the actual mountains, and we're right in the heart of it right here. Right in the middle of the Appalachian Mountains, which run all the way up to the Bay of Biscay. Yep. So, yeah, that's a region predominantly occupied by white folks. Not all, but predominantly. I'll take a quick peek over here at something else. Yep, okay. Schumacher. Get rid of that. I don't need that anymore. And I don't need all these pictures. They're tiny. Or the map of Appalachia. Anyway. Yeah, they are beautiful flesh, and it's gorgeous. There's some lovely spots up in there. But these are mountains that are traversable. That's why they weren't much of a barrier to westward expansion. They were a little bit of a barrier, but not much of one. There's a lot of off-grid people in that area. Yeah, that's true too, Charmaine. There's a lot of people living up in hollers and woods and off it. Lithium, I'm not aware of lithium in the Appalachians. Let me do a search and see what they say. Okay. Mining Appalachian. There's a lot of coal. I know that. A lot of coal. But let's see what they say. Coal mining. Let's talk about coal. Let's try this. Minerals. Minerals found in Appalachian Mountains. Nickel, molybdenum, titanium, manganese, cobalt, and graphite. Yeah, but are they in commercially exploitable deposits? Yeah, I'm looking at the map here. Yeah. And they're in different spots, but they're mostly non-metallic minerals. So anyway, yeah, not a lot. There's coal in the Appalachians. We get a lot of coal out of there. Far too inbred by now, says Charles. Nah, that's not true. It is mainly coal, Charles. That's correct. Hey, Carlos, how's it going? Yep. All right, so there you have it. From the Appalachian Mountains here in central Pennsylvania, this is Chris signing off for today. Wish you good luck and God bless for the evening, and hopefully I'll see some of you maybe on my TikTok. I'm going to do a TikTok video, and certainly tomorrow on Rugby Senate. So looking forward to that. Thanks, everybody. God bless and take care. Look, I'll go ahead and... Well, it's almost time for him to end, so I'm not going to send you over there. You can always go over to Ronaldo if you want, if he runs over. Cheers, everybody. God bless. Have a good weekend. Salute you all. Thanks for the support. Appreciate it. And I'm out of here. That's it. Bye-bye.